The final stretch of your certification journey is less about gathering new information and more about refining the massive amount of knowledge you have already acquired. This final episode outlines your priority list for the last week before you sit for the GLEG, Global Legal and Engineering Governance exam to ensure you are peaking at the precise moment of your appointment. Typically, the most successful candidates use this 7-day window to move from deep dive learning into a strategic, sharpening phase where speed and accuracy become the primary metrics of success. In practice, a disciplined final week prevents the scattered anxiety that often leads to a loss of focus during the high-pressure environment of the testing center. What this means is that we are building a structured countdown that prioritizes high-impact review and mental resilience over raw academic volume. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to our course companion books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyber.author.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. To maximize your final score, you must focus your professional energy on the areas of highest impact by reviewing the specific topics that carry the most weight on the GLEG evaluation. While every domain is important, certain sections like the law of data security and the fundamentals of digital investigations often feature more complex and point-heavy scenarios than others. In practice, you should consult the official exam blueprint to ensure your time is aligned with the actual distribution of questions you will face. Typically, a seasoned practitioner does not treat all subjects as equal during the final week, but instead prioritizes the core pillars of the curriculum to secure a solid passing baseline. What this means is that you are using a risk-based approach to your own education, ensuring that your strongest efforts are directed where they will yield the greatest reward. A cornerstone of your final preparation is the professional practice of taking one last, full-length practice exam to build the physical and mental stamina required for the real event. Sitting for a 2-hour proctored session is an athletic feat for the brain, requiring sustained concentration and the ability to handle 75 technical and legal questions without a break. In practice, this simulation allows you to identify any lingering stamina gaps where your accuracy might dip toward the end of the session. Typically, a final practice test also serves as a final diagnostic tool, highlighting any remaining concepts that require a quick administrative refresh before the big day. What this means is that you are using a realistic dress rehearsal to ensure that your performance on the actual exam is both predictable and exceptionally high quality. A frequent and highly dangerous mistake in the world of professional certification is the error of overstudying in the final 24 hours, which almost always leads to burnout and severe mental fatigue during the actual testing. Your brain is a physiological organ that requires rest to consolidate information and to perform the high-level reasoning needed for legal analysis. In practice, a candidate who crams until midnight the night before often suffers from a diminished ability to recall facts and a slower reaction time when faced with complex scenarios. Typically, the most effective strategy is to stop all intensive study by the evening before the exam, allowing your mind to enter a state of calm and readiness. This realization highlights why the final day should be reserved for light review, physical relaxation, and the quiet confidence of a job well done. You can achieve a significant and immediate quick win for your recall speed by reviewing the various summary lists, definitions, and acronyms we have covered in this audio series on a daily basis during your final week. These rapid-fire reviews help to keep the essential terminology from the EDRM, Electronic Discovery Reference Model, to the DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, at the very front of your working memory. In practice, having these facts instantly accessible allows you to move through the simpler vocabulary-based questions in seconds, preserving your time for more difficult tasks. Typically, these daily micro-reviews act as a powerful anchor for your knowledge, ensuring that the foundational rules of law and forensics remain fresh and uncontested. What this means is that you are using consistent, low-stress repetition to reinforce the mental links you have built over the past several months. It is worth taking a moment to visualize your upcoming success as the natural and inevitable culmination of the disciplined study habits you have built over the past several weeks. In this visualization, you see yourself navigating the exam interface with total professional poise, accurately identifying the likelihood of confusion or the requirements for a valid consent without hesitation. Typically, this type of positive mental rehearsal reduces the fear of the unknown and prepares your nervous system for a successful and low-stress experience. In practice, when you walk into the testing center, you will feel like you have been there before because you have already won the exam in your mind multiple times. This visualization helps us see that your psychological state is a vital component of your final score and your future professional standing in the cybersecurity community. Use this final week as a strategic opportunity to refine your question skipping and flagging strategy to ensure you are completely comfortable with the pace of the exam. You should practice the discipline of moving past a confusing question in under 30 seconds, knowing that you will return to it with a fresh perspective once the rest of your points are secured. In practice, the GLEG exam rewards those who can manage their time as effectively as they manage their legal research. Typically, the most successful candidates are those who finish with 15 or 20 minutes to spare, allowing them to perform a final, calm review of their flagged items. What this means is that you are using your final practice sessions to master the meta skills of test taking that turn a good student into a certified and high-performing expert. Reviewing your personal notes and highlighting the specific concepts that were originally the hardest for you to learn will give you a final, targeted boost in your professional confidence. These are the areas where you have already done the heavy lifting of understanding, and a final touch point ensures that those hard-won insights are locked in for the duration of the exam. In practice, this targeted review is much more effective than reading a general textbook from cover to cover one last time. Typically, a seasoned professional knows exactly which mental traps they tend to fall into and uses this time to build a specific defense against those errors. This commitment to self-awareness ensures that your knowledge is not only broad across the 4 domains, but is also exceptionally deep in the areas that matter most for your certification. Imagine the profound and life-changing career opportunities that will open up for you once you have successfully earned your professional GLEG certification and added these prestigious credentials to your resume. As a certified expert in the law of data security and investigations, you will be uniquely qualified to bridge the gap between the technical engineering teams and the high-level legal and executive departments. Typically, this certification signals to the world that you possess a rare and highly valued combination of technical forensic skills and deep legal literacy. In practice, you will find yourself in high demand for roles involving incident response leadership, privacy governance, and professional digital discovery. This scenario serves as a powerful reminder that the effort you are putting into these final days is a direct investment in your own future and your ability to lead at the highest levels of the industry. Every final effort you make this week should be anchored in the singular and professional goal of passing the GLEG exam on your very first attempt with a strong and defensible score. This first-time pass mentality drives a level of focus and intensity that is necessary to overcome the natural fatigue that can set in at the end of a long study journey. In practice, this means treating every practice question and every audio review with the same seriousness as the real event. Typically, the candidates who succeed are those who refuse to settle for good enough and who continue to push for total mastery of the 4 domains until the very last moment. What this means is that you are adopting the mindset of an elite professional who expects excellence from themselves and who is fully prepared to deliver it when the clock begins to tick. We have now set your final schedule and identified the key focus areas to ensure that you are peaking at exactly the right time for your certification appointment. By following this 7-day priority list, you are ensuring that your mind is sharp, your logistics are sound, and your technical and legal knowledge is fully consolidated. Typically, the most effective programs are those that transition from input to output in the final stages of the journey. In practice, this ensures that you arrive at the testing center not as a student who is still learning, but as a professional who is ready to be verified. This integrated perspective is what transforms the anxiety of a test into the excitement of a professional milestone and a well-deserved victory for your career and your organization. Use the specific feedback and the performance reports from your final practice tests to guide your final 3 days of highly targeted, and focused content review. If the data shows that you are struggling with safe harbor provisions but excel at chain of custody, you should adjust your schedule to address that specific weakness immediately. In practice, this data-driven approach ensures that you are not wasting time on information you already know by heart. Typically, a professional candidate uses their weakest domain as a primary focus for their final study sessions to ensure a balanced and resilient score across all 75 questions. What this means is that you are using technical engineering and data analysis to provide a high-level guarantee of your own success on the GLEG certification exam. Setting these professional priorities for your final week ensures that you enter the testing room with a sharp mind, a rested body, and a clear, documented path to victory. When the rules of the exam are clear and your knowledge is consolidated, the certification process becomes a simple validation of the expertise you have already demonstrated throughout this course. Typically, a mature program uses these final checkpoints to ensure that nothing is left to chance and that the organization's investment in your training is fully realized. In practice, the energy you spend on perfecting your retention and focus today is a direct investment in the long-term validity and the professional value of your new credential. This focus on priorities is what ensures that your governance program remains a verified, trusted, and highly effective reality in the modern digital world. This final lesson on the essentials of setting last week priorities to sharpen retention and focus is now complete, and you are officially ready to begin your final countdown. We have discussed the role of high-impact review, the importance of the final practice exam, the value of mental visualization, and the necessity of avoiding burnout in the final 24 hours. A warm and very practical next step for your own professional growth is to go ahead and schedule your final full-length practice exam for tomorrow morning. As you do so, consider the incredible journey you have taken across the worlds of computer crime, investigations, intellectual property, and privacy law to reach this moment. Moving forward with this observant and disciplined mindset will help you ensure that your certification journey ends with a well-deserved victory and a new chapter of leadership in your career.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit BareMetalCyber.com.